friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I am so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me, because today we will be wrapping up all of the books that I read while I was on hiatus, if you will. So we will be talking about what I read in March, April, and May, and we will probably just do a big summer wrap up at the end of August and then we'll be caught up. But I was reading while I was away and I read some good books, read some not so great books, but I thought I would tell you about all of them anyway. We have a lot of books to talk about anyway, so let us go ahead and hop in to this video. As always, with our wrap-ups, we will start with our DNFs and end with our 5 stars, just to make sure that we end with some good positivity, okay? The first DNF that I want to talk to you about is going to be Hot Desk by Laura Dickerman. Alrighty, so I only ended up reading about 15% of this book, which is about 50 pages. My bookmark is still in there. We're in the post-pandemic publishing industry and we're following 2 rival editors who are forced to share a hot desk on alternating days of the week. We have Rebecca and Ben, who have been leaving passive aggressive post-it notes on the pot of their shared cactus. And then a literary legend dies and his estate is up for grabs, and both of them, of course, trying to get a hold of his estate. And we find out that Rebecca's mother and this literary legend are connected in some type of way. And so yeah, I, like I said, only read 50 pages of this, and I figured it would be more on the literary side. I don't have an issue with that. I love reading about the publishing industry, so I thought this was going to be a hit for me. But personally, I just could not connect with the characters. I didn't really care about what they had to say. I don't think that the writing style was really for me either. So yeah, this is going to be unhauled as it was a DNF. And then our only other DNF, luckily there were only 2, is Royal Pain. And this is the second book in the Genius in Love series by Marina Hill. This is an interconnected standalone series as far as I know, but y'all know I don't care about reading them in order, which is why we have the second book first. I read about 71% of this book, so I almost finished it, but I just couldn't quite push through. We're following Maya in this, and the media dubs her as the it girl of the decade when they're not calling her a train wreck. They don't notice her record-breaking impact on environmental protection or her humanitarian work as she continues working at her botanical garden in hopes that she might be properly recognized. Her biggest threat walks through the door. Shuri's handsome, and underneath their bickering is phenomenal sex, but he could ruin her beyond repair. His tech billionaire status doesn't impress her. It's the reason she tries to resist him. Tristan has everything he could ever want, except for one thing: access to his inheritance. Much to his dismay, his father's terms includes 300 hours of community service. Quick work at a botanical garden turns into a chase for the world's most infuriating woman, one who challenges everything he thought he knew. My issue with this book came from just not really liking Maya. She was very quick to judge, and yes, we should have smoke for billionaires, but then at the same time, I don't know, she was a little wishy-washy for me in a way that I just didn't enjoy. Basically, I just wasn't a fan of her as a main character. I didn't really care for Tristan either, and I wasn't in support of the relationship. Like I said, I gave it a shot, but then I just put it down and didn't pick it back up. So there you go. Don't Tell Me How It Ends by Adrian Thurman. I received an e-arc of this book. In this, we're following Kaya, who is a floundering 20-something who's sworn off romance, and she finds herself roped into her meddling sister's matchmaking business, basically because she feels sorry for her sister because her sister is pregnant and newly single. So she, gives her sister a chance to hook her up. So she goes on these 3 dates, but while she is doing that, she meets this guy named Ro, and they become friends, and they start talking about these dates and things like that. And so basically, her and Ro start to grow closer, and we'll see if these dates work out or whatever the situation is. Okay. So I rated this a 2.5 star. And that is because Kaya is not a likable main character at all. And I ended up reading, I think it was like an author's note or something at the end of this book. And this author purposefully writes unlikable characters. So I get it, but like Kaya was insufferable. Being in her head was miserable. I just didn't like it. She was an awful friend to Ro, and that irritated me because then I was on Ro's side. I was rooting for Ro, and telling Ro that he deserved more. And if you make me do that for a man, I'm done with you. I ain't got nothing for you. So with Kaya making me root for Ro and be on Ro's side, I wasn't a fan. Okay, so let us talk about the Davenports. More than this is the second book in the Davenport series. My guess is also that it's the finale because it ended like a finale and I haven't heard anything about a third book. So yeah, this is a YA historical romance series where we follow 4 Black teens in Chicago in the 1910s. I personally did not enjoy this one as much as I did the first book. The first book had a type of like almost she's the man type of thing going on where this person wants this person, but this person wants this person, like the tangled web of who wants who and the drama and the mess. But this one was kind of just more chill and yeah. Not to say that it was boring, there just wasn't so much drama, which kind of dampened it a little bit for me. Some of the characters' storylines I just wasn't gelling with, and I don't know why we went in that direction specifically, but I think it all ended on a great note. Everybody ended up, I guess, where they should be, happily ever after, and I rated this one in particular a 3-star. And I'm just glad that I read it because this is actually on my self-destructing book list that I made in my journal. I didn't make a video about it. I just kind of made a spread in my journal of books that I've had on my TBR for entirely too long that I needed to read this year, or I was going to unhaul them because that means I'm not interested if I hadn't picked it up. Glad that I finally got to read this book and finish off this series. Still recommend it. Still think it's great, but just not my favorite. If I Ruled the World by Amy Dubois Barnett. This is a literary book where we follow Nikki Rose, and it is the late 1990s in New York City. And Nikki works for a magazine, but she has been told that Black girls don't sell magazines. So she has quit the very popular magazine that she was working for and goes over to Sugar, which is a struggling hip hop music and lifestyle magazine. And she has 6 months to save Sugar. And while she's doing this, she's also evading Alonzo, her very married, very powerful ex-lover and former boss, who is determined to destroy both her and Sugar. Along the way, Nikki leans on a circle of loyal friends and navigates unexpected romances that force her to reckon with who and what she truly wants. Now, when I first heard about this book, it immediately rose to the top of my TBR, the top of my 5-star predictions list. Like, this just has everything I wanted. It reminds me of one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Brown Sugar, which talks about magazines and music in this time frame. And it just sounded like it was going to give me everything that I wanted. And friends, I hate to say it, but I was disappointed. She didn't give what I thought she was going to give, and I actually struggled to finish this book. I think the only reason why I finished it is because I just thought it was going to be a 5-star, and I was just hoping that it got better and got better, and it just, I rated it a 3-star, and I think I was being generous with that just because of what I wanted this book to be. Nikki as a main character, I felt like it took her too long to learn lessons. I felt like she was not a good friend, but she had really great friends, which was kind of unfortunate because it made it seem a little one-sided. She didn't take warnings when people gave them to her. It just, she was annoying. She was annoying, and 3 stars. I had an e-arc for The Impossible Garden of Clara Thorne by Summer in England. This is a sapphic, cozy fantasy where we are following Clara, who is a gardener who just wants to live in her beloved town of Moss and magically grow herbs and vegetables. But fate has another plan when the goddess unexpectedly bestows her with an impossible quest. Clara has 1 month to travel to the cursed and abandoned town of Dwindle and grow them a garden. If she fails, she will be banished. But the problem is Clara's magic doesn't work outside of Moss, which is something she has kept hidden for years. And also the goddess has assigned the absurdly sexy, annoyingly cheerful Hesper to keep her safe. So they go on this journey to this town, and Clara got to try to grow a garden without powers in an expedited timeline. And I rated this a 3-star. I thought it was cute. It was cozy, whimsical. I think it took too long for me to get to the quest and the garden building of it all because we spent so much time at the beginning leading up to that, and I'm like, we ain't even got to the synopsis yet, and we halfway through this book. And so it felt like the rest of it was kind of rushed as well. But I thought that Hesper and Clara were cute because Clara was trying so hard to not like Hesper, but yeah. So yeah, this is cute, fun, cozy. If you're looking for that type of thing, I would recommend this book. I listened to The Book of Blood and Roses by Annie Summerlee, the first book in the Callisto Chronicles. We follow Rebecca, who is a vampire hunter undercover at the university, searching for the mysterious Book of Blood and Roses, a lost compendium of ways to kill vampires. And if she finds it, she'll be one step closer to avenging her parents. But when Rebecca arrives, she finds something unexpected, a coffin. Her new roommate is Elise Astra, scion of one of the most powerful vampire families and the most beautiful woman Rebecca has ever met. So we have a vampire hunter and a vampire who will fall in love. It's a sapphic story. They're both searching for this Book of Blood and Roses for different reasons. And there's a lot of information that comes out about situations that, what Rebecca once thought was the situation, she finds out was not the way that she thought it was. And I thought this was okay. It was a little boring to me. I just wasn't as into the story as I thought that I would be. I don't really know if that was like the writing style or like just the characters I wasn't really connecting to, but I ended up rating it a 3-star. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't great. It was fine. And that's really all I have to say. I also listened to The Love Audit by Lucy Eden. This is a romance where we follow PR strategist Jasmine, who knows for sure that she is good at her job, that she's trying to save her team from looming layoffs, and that Derek Carter will always be her arch nemesis. And unfortunately, she and Derek end up on competing projects in Miller's Cove, a small town highly suspicious of corporate outsiders. To gain the trust of the locals, she'll have to ditch her blazer and pose as a honeymooning couple with her mortal enemy. And so Derek and Jasmine kind of have to team up, but also work separately. They have to make these people think that they are honeymooning and in love, so they'll tell them all their secrets of the town. And so, yeah, you know what happens when there's fake dating or a marriage of convenience type of situation. They end up falling for each other, but also finding out that their company does not have the best interest of these people who live in this town. And they have to kind of decide what they're going to do, if they're going to switch sides or, what's going to happen. I thought this was just okay. It was cute. It was fun. It was quick, but nothing stood out to me about this, so I rated this a 3-star as well. Okay, I had to get up and get this book because I forgot about it, and that should tell you my thoughts. So that is The Isle and the Silver Sea by Tasha Suri. This is a sapphic fantasy where we follow two lovers who endure centuries of endings. So in an England fueled by stories, the knight and the witch are fated to fall in love and doom each other over and over. The same tale retold over hundreds of lifetimes. So we are following Simran, who is our witch, and Vina, who is our knight. And these women begin to fall for each other. And basically, these stories kind of fuel the land and keep it going. The story of the witch and the knight, somebody has to kill somebody, but they don't necessarily want to do that. And so, yeah, I rated this a 3.5 star. This is very fairy tale-ish. If you like a fairy tale, whimsically type of situation, I think this would work for you. Vina, absolutely love Vina. One of my favorite characters. I think my issue came with this book. It's just it wasn't what I was expecting. I wasn't really expecting the fairy tale vibe, and I don't mind a fairy tale story. I love them. I love a whimsical, cozy-ish type of situation. I think this is too long. And also there was a point where it felt like it ended, or it should have ended, but the author kept it going, and then the direction that Tasha Suri took it after that point just didn't really make sense. I didn't like it. It didn't feel necessary. It just felt like she wanted the story to keep going. So yeah, a little more on the disappointing side. 3.5 stars, still really good, still would recommend, just not a favorite. Isabel and the Rogue by Liana De La Rosa. This is the second book in the Luna Sisters series, and this one we're following Isabel, who calls herself the Forgotten Sister. She uses her wallflower personality to basically be an amateur sleuth, try to find out information on the British to be able to give back to her people in Mexico, or to find out any information about the French as well. And so she runs into Cyrus one night. He kind of catches her doing her sleuthing, and they start sleuthing together, basically. And so, of course, along the way, they start liking each other, but Cyrus is known to be a rake, and she doesn't really believe that he can like someone like her who is a wallflower. And yeah, we just watched that kind of happen. This is a 3.5 star. I think my issue with this is that I feel like at every chance she got, Isabel had to remind us that she's a wallflower, that she's quiet, that no one really notices her, that she's not her sisters. And like, sis, yeah, but like, you don't have to tell me that a million times. I get it. I get it. And if you don't like that about yourself, you have the opportunity to change that. So that was just a little annoying to me. The romance in here was, I liked the romance, but the conflict, that's what it was. The conflict, the third act break, if I could talk. The conflict and the third act breakup in this, I didn't really love, but I am liking the series, and it is one that I would recommend you pick up if you have not already. I had an e-arc of Double Happiness by Heather Ng, and this is a romance book as well that I was a little skeptical about, because when I read the synopsis, I was like, hold on now, wait a minute. So we have Maylee, who runs into Alexandra at a family function, and there's no denying the chemistry. It turns out Alexandra, whose brother is married to May's younger sister, is back in town rebuilding his life after 2 decades toiling away in academic research. But here's the catch. May is engaged to Joey right now, who is a person who keeps her grounded, and he's been her person for however long that they have known each other. But she keep having these moments with Alexandra. So now she got to figure out, am I going to be with Alexandra because he's making me feel some type of way that I've never felt before, and this could actually like be a thing? Or am I going to stay with Joey, the safe option, the person who, has been with me throughout all this time, but we don't really feel like we match or like fit together anymore? So yeah, we had to kind of figure that out. And Prince, I was worried because like the whole time, like, she better not cheat on Joey. She better not cheat on Joey. She better not cheat on Joey, because whether you feel the type of way or not, you need to leave. Don't be cheating on people. That's rude. Okay? But yeah, I rated this a 3.5 star. I thought it was done in a tasteful way. There was a lot of self-discovery along with the story. Not just who should I be with, but who do I want to be, and who helps me bring out the version of myself that I want to be. So yeah, 3.5 stars. Next, we have a book that has been on my TBR forever, Not Safe for Work by Nisha J. Tooley. This is about engineer Trishara, who once dreamed of being the first woman of color to smash the glass ceiling at WMC Purcell. But after years of dealing with white male privilege and blatant nepotism, she watches her hard-on promotion go to her nemesis Ralph, who is the boss's son. Trish is stunned when she's picked to attend WMC's corporate leadership retreat in Hawaii. It's her chance to revive her stalled career and compete for a coveted spot in an executive training program. The downside, Ralph is her co-attendee. So basically throughout this, they kind of get to know each other better, and Trish kind of sees Ralph's side of the story, but also maybe why she hasn't moved up or done what she thought she was supposed to do in the situation. And they also kind of create this relationship and build it along the way, because there's also like a one room trope or something like that. My problem with this book, I rated it a 3.5 star, and I think it easily could have been almost a 5 star, but this book really needed Ralph's POV, because without it, Trish seemed like she was just down bad, and not in a cute way for Ralph. We didn't get to see him develop feelings for her, so the relationship felt very one-sided, and I just didn't like that. You know, I wasn't a fan of that. We needed Ralph's POV so bad, because it didn't look good on Trish to kind of just be salivating over this man and just down so bad, but not even getting to see what he felt about her, how much he liked her. So yeah, that really, and that was the biggest thing for me, honestly. It just felt very like half of the story, like, and I didn't like that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. It was just such a big part that it just kind of really turned me off about their relationship, which is a large part of romance books. The third book in the Princess of Sin series by Carrie Maniscalco, Throne of Nightmares. And in this one, we are following Prince Sloth, who hates leaving his enchanted library, but when a forgotten deity threatens the very fabric of the underworld, he's thrust into a race against time. He must find the Book of Nightmares, an ancient artifact that has the power to break worlds before it unleashes a deadly game to free its master, the goddess of night. But then his path collides with a young woman who possesses the legendary Phoenix Tear, a portal stone unlike any other. Laura Brimstone has always loved getting lost in a book, but she never meant literally. Yet after visiting a traveling caravan, she quickly finds herself transported to a terrifying but oddly familiar world, with an icy, calculating prince at her side. Laura and Sloth soon discover they're living out Laura's favorite novels and must face off against an increasingly dark magic with each new story. If Laura can't learn to channel her inner main character to defeat the Book of Nightmares, the wall between the gods and mortals will come crashing down, dooming them all. Unfortunately, even though I rated this a 3.5 star, it is probably my least favorite in the series so far. I definitely know that Throne of the Fallen is my favorite, and I kind of think I liked Throne of Secrets more than this one, and I am upset because I thought this one was going to really do it for me. It's the bookish one. Like, I really like Carrie Maniscalco's writing. I like being in this world particularly, and so I thought the bookish themes say less, but it was just a little corny. It was a little corny, and I felt like Laura could be annoying sometimes because she kept on talking about how she, didn't have main character energy, and how she was a side character, and how she wanted to have main character energy. I'm like, girl, shut up. I don't care about your main character energy. I just don't. So yeah, I thought that the setup of it was pretty interesting as well. There was some good plot twist, and I like Sloth. I liked their connection. It was just a little bit of the magic of this that I have come to like of this series kind of missing from this book. And yeah, I still am going to continue on with the series. Still you know, whatever. But this one's just not a favorite. I read Beautiful Things by Emily Rath. This is the first book in the Second Son series, another historical romance, but this one is adult and it is also a Why Choose. And so, yeah, once I found out it was a Why Choose, I had to know. And in this one, we are following Rosalie, who is unmarried, and she gets an invitation to go to Alcott Hall to visit her late mother's like childhood best friend, who is now this dowager duchess. And she gets there and it's basically like this party for her son to find his match, his wife, and there's just a bunch of really snooty women there. And yeah, so Rosalie is trying to navigate this, but also trying to figure out why she was invited to begin with. And while she's there, she meets 3 men, and you know, she likes all 3 of them. And yeah, don't want to tell you too much about this. I had a fun time. I think Rosalie is a fun character to follow. I rated this book a 4-star. And I had a great time. I need to continue the series before I forget. But yeah, this was a good one. Another series I was able to finish off, and I am glad that I did because it's been a long time coming for this as well. And that is Merciless Saviors by H.E. Edgman. This is the final book in the Ouroboros duology, and that series starts with Godly Heathens. This is a YA fantasy book. We follow these teenagers who are actually gods, and they are kind of reincarnated with each life, but they are sleeping and they don't know that there are these gods until they are essentially awakened or someone like jogs their memory about it. There's also queer indigenous teens, and this series is heartbreaking. It is very interesting. I would definitely check the trigger warnings for this series if you decide to pick it up, because this series, and especially this book, bruh, I am not a person who cries in books. I'm not. But this one right here, this one almost got me. Like, my throat was a little tight, my eyes was a little blurry. This one almost got me. Long time coming for this book, but we finally got her read, and that is This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi, the first book in the This Woven Kingdom series. This has been on my TBR forever. You've probably seen it a million times, but I actually finally got to it, friend. I finally read it, and I rated it a 4-star. This was so good. This is a YA fantasy where we, oh no, I bent it. Oh, that's unfortunate. The little flap was in here bent. Oh, okay. We'll have to straighten that back out. But we follow, I think her name is Elise, and she's a servant who is a long lost heir to an ancient Jinn kingdom. And, you know, people don't know that she's alive, so she is hiding out as a servant. And then one day she makes a mistake, and this mistake means that she has gained the attention of Cameron, who is the crown prince. He knows of the prophecy, he knows of Elise's people, and you know, things just start to unravel. They start to like each other, but then along with that forbidden romance comes some politics and another person who hopped in at the end here who is gonna shake some stuff up for real. This ending, yeah, I definitely am ready to hop into the second book. I think it's up next on my TBR. So yeah, I'm having fun with this series. The writing was lush and great, and yeah, it's as good as everybody says it is. So pick it up if you haven't. And what's also on that self-destructing list for this year, and that is Masquerade by O.O. Sangoyami. This is a adult fantasy, and it is kind of a reimagining of or loosely based on the myth of Persephone. In this, we're following Ododo, whose hometown of Timbuktu has been conquered by the warrior king of Yorubaland, and the living conditions for the women in her blacksmith guild, who are already shunned as social pariahs, grow even worse. But then Ododo gets abducted. She is whisked away across the Sahara to the capital city of Shangote? Yeah, where she is shocked to discover that her kidnapper is none other than the vagrant who had visited her guild just days before. But now he is swathed in riches rather than rags. Ododo realizes he is not a vagrant at all, but he is the warrior king, and he has chosen her to be his wife. his second wife. That makes a difference. So in the sudden change of fortune, Odoto soars to the very heights of society, but after a lifetime of subjugation, she finds the power that saturates the world of battle and political savvy too enticing to resist. And so this is basically just watching her go from rags to riches, learning about the political game, learning about all the things of what's going on in Yoruba land and how she best fits into all this. How can she make it better for her people back home? All the things. And to watch Odoto is amazing. Like, sis really did her big one. And there were times where I was worried about my girl, because as much as she learned and caught on quick, there were people who had been playing the game longer than her that was trying to take her out, maybe even literally. And so, yeah, the ending, this was so good. 4 stars. So I hate that it took me so long to get to this, because this 8. This was really cool and really good. And I'm glad that I finally picked it up. Long Live Evil by Sarah Reese Brennan. This is the first book in the Time of Iron series, where we have Ray, who is about to die of cancer, but she is given a second chance at living, a magical bargain that lets her enter the world of her favorite fantasy series. She wakes up in a castle on the edge of a hellish chasm, home to the once and forever emperor, her favorite fictional character. He's impossibly alluring, only as fiction can be. However, in this fantasy world, she discovers that she is not the heroine, but the villainess in the emperor's tale. And this was very interesting and very layered, and so much more than I actually thought it was going to be. Ray has to, first, when she wakes up, her character is going to be executed the next day. So my sister had to get the ball rolling and like not get executed, but also learning that things within the book are not as cut and dry as they seem, figuring out who's who, because there are other people like her in this book as well. And just watching all their antics, and it was fun. It was funny. It was heartbreaking to hear about, you know, how Ray's illness kind of took over her life and how she kind of lost everything, and how much hope she has riding on being able to survive this story and live. This is really great. I can't wait to pick up the sequel. Rated this a 4 star. I was here for a good time, and that was it. I listened to the Secret Crush book club. This is the 3rd book in the Peach Blossom series by Carmen Lee, and in this we follow Danny, who is a single mom devoted to her son and family, and she barely has a moment for herself. But when her sister announces she's moving out of the house, the ache of loneliness creeps in, and Danny can't help but wonder if there's something else she's been missing in her life. Zoe came to Peach Blossom eager to start her new job as a town's librarian and do a little research for her next book, yet she never expected to find inspiration in fellow book club member Danny. Before they know it, lingering glances over their favorite fiction turn into first dates and sizzling nights. As their connection deepens, the two women must decide if they should turn the page on what their lives used to look like, or if this thrilling plot twist is the happily ever after they've been chasing all along. This is my favorite book that I've read from Carmen Lee from this series to date. I absolutely love the bookish nature of this, the cozy feeling that it gave. I'm usually not a single parent type of person, but I did not mind this one at all. I really enjoyed Danny and Zoe as a couple. I feel like their relationship was very realistic, and yeah. I think that's all I have to say. This is a good time. I really like the audiobook experience. So anything else that I'm reading in this Peach Blossom series, I'm probably going to pick up the audiobook as well, just to keep the good vibes going. We have Female Fantasy by Iman Hariri Kia. This is a romance fantasy type of book where we have Junie, who is a fanfic writer and a copywriter. She continues to date and dump disappointing men in search of a happily ever after, but she keeps comparing all the guys that she is meeting to her favorite book boyfriend, whose name is Reich. She finds out that the author of her favorite book series based Reich, who is her favorite book boyfriend, on somebody that the author actually knows. So Junie decides to go on this crazy adventure to try to find this man because she thinks he's going to be her man. This is ridiculous, right? Right. Her brother's best friend decides that he is going to go on this journey with her because she does not need to be doing this alone, which rightfully so, but he has his own ulterior motives. So we follow them, but also throughout the book, we are getting snippets of Junie's favorite book series. We never actually, do we even learn the name of the series? I don't know. But so we get to see Reich in action and see what makes Junie fall in love with Reich. And I just thought this was super fun. This is a little on the cringy side, a little outrageous, but in the best way possible. I think I rated this a 4-star, and this was super fun. I had a good time. It's not anything to like fully take seriously, but if you're just looking for a laugh and like some unserious batshit crazy stuff, this is the book for you. Next, we have An Academic Affair by Jodi McAllister. This is a contemporary romance type situation where we are following Sadie and Jonah, who have been academic rivals since they first crossed paths as undergraduates in the literature department 15 years ago. In the cutthroat world of academia, opportunities are scarce and competition is ruthless. Now postdocs thrust into professional uncertainty. They'll do anything to find some stability, and they decide, one of them gets a job and decides to bring the other one on as a partner hire, which means that they end up in a marriage of convenience. And when I tell you I absolutely loved this book, I rated it a 4 star. What? I rated it a 4.5 star. This was just what my nerdy literature, English loving soul needed in the right moment. I didn't even find Sadie and Jonah's back and forth annoying. I was eating it up because I could tell from jump that somebody likes somebody, but you know, it takes forever for the characters to actually figure that out. But I peeped it right away. The only reason why this was not a 5-star for me is because this book also explores the relationship between Sadie and her sister, and it was just a couple of things about that I was not a fan of when it came to that particular storyline. So yeah, I actually have an e-arc of the follow-up to this book, which follows Sadie's sister. And I'm a little nervous about it because it's A, Sadie's sister, who I didn't really like, and B, an age gap. So that's why I went for the e-arc instead of picking up a physical copy when it comes out. But yeah, I was very surprised at how much I absolutely loved this book, and I will definitely be recommending it going forward. If you love nerdy main characters, she's for you. My first 5-star of 2026 did not come until March, and friends, I was worried, and it also came from a book that I'm very surprised by. I actually should have brought up my trad published version of this book, but I didn't, so I'm just gonna hold up the indie copy even though it's heavy, and that is Daggermouth by H.M. Wolf, my first 5-star of 2026. Y'all, this book needs no introduction. I don't need to tell you nothing about this book because it has been everywhere. It has blown all the way up, and I was very skeptical about reading this because this is a dark dystopian romance, and I usually don't read dark romance or fantasy. It's usually not my thing, and so I was very skeptical about it. But Lex and I decided to buddy read this more or less together, and so yeah, friends. This book is wild. This book is heartbreaking. It's all the things. You will experience every emotion. Make sure you check the trigger warnings for this. I am just happy that I gave it a chance because it is so different from what I usually read. But, you know, she turned out to be a good one. And I cannot wait until the sequel comes out because the ending of this will have you sad. It will have you sad. It will have you all the things in one, just stuck. It's hard to say I had a good time when my heart was hurting for a lot of it, but this is a good book regardless. My second 5-star of 2026 came from It's All in Your Head by Sabina Northquist. This is probably going down as one of my favorite books of all time. I don't know what I was expecting from this book, but I don't think I was expecting to fall head over heels for this book, for this story, for these characters, all the things, all the good things. And this woman follows Skylar, who is done with offline relationships, especially romantic ones. She lives with a chronic illness, which means she's heard it all before: unreliable, high maintenance, too much. She'd rather spend her free time in her online support group. And lately, she can't help but notice Pike, the hot new guy with a penchant for broody poetry. And one night, some chaotic crap ends up happening, and she has to fake like she is Pike's girlfriend to his mom. So now they can't just get out of the situation. She kind of has to bring that into real life and fake date Pike. So with all of that, Pike is this Olympic gold medalist who was he a snowboarder? Yeah, snowboarder who had this career-ending injury that has now left him with chronic pain. He now needs to use mobility aids, and so now he is a disabled person. So he is kind of wrestling with the depression of going from being on top of the world to at the bottom of it. He is no longer the person that he used to be. Everything about him changed literally in an instant. They have to figure it out. They have to figure out this relationship, how to be friends, how to help each other through their disabledness, and also dealing with family and how family can be less supportive than they should be, how family can say the wrong things about people with chronic illness and disabilities. And I just loved everything about this book. I feel like so many things are represented in this book, and I just cannot say enough good things about it. I'm gonna stop myself because I'll keep talking about it over and over again, but like, for sure, if you have some kind of chronic illness, chronic pain, disability, for sure read it. If you know somebody, yeah, everybody just needs to read it. Okay, I'm not gonna limit this to anybody. Everybody needs to pick this book up because I think everybody can gain a piece of something from this. So yeah, this is definitely a favorite of 2026. And friends, we have officially wrapped up all the books that I read in March, April, and May while I was away. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. Anything that you do to support me and my channel, friend, I greatly appreciate it. I feel like I have yapped enough. So yeah, I hope you have the best day that you possibly can. Remember to take care of yourself, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.